I just drove 2 hours up to OKC to pick up a car, the BMW M4. It's been here with SS Industries getting some work done. Let's go inside. Man, every time I see this thing, it is so thick, I forget. This is Sergio, basically owner, CEO, fabricator of SS Industries.
Of SS Industries.
But I wanted him to explain what he did for us on this car.
So pretty much what I did is in the rear, he cut out the quarter panels and I folded them up, stitch welded it back together, and grinded it down all smooth. And in the front, I know you can't really see it right now, but took a chunk out of the firewall and plated it back in so that way he could turn all the way without any rubbing issues.
So originally, I beaded the firewall in like several inches, at least 2 inches at one part, and it still wasn't good enough. You could like drive it at like ride height, but you couldn't ride on low ride height or like a max like curb height. It was still hitting. For more on that, you can go check out his YouTube channel. I'll put a link down in the description, and he did a little bit of a video when he was working on this car. What Sergio does at his shop mostly is like lowriders and building frames, am I right?
Mostly, but I do a lot of different fabrication, building fences, reinforcing Impala frames, putting hydraulics, air ride on cars, just a little bit of everything.
Now I want to show them yours. There we go. Please. Oh, is that frame? It goes straight down, dude. That's wild. That is too much fun. Yeah, that's a sick paint job. What is it right now? A small block? Big block?
Yeah, it's just a 350. Nothing crazy, nothing special.
Carburetor, you're going fuel injection on this new one?
Yeah, here.
So sick.
Car is dirty right now too.
How long have you had this car?
A long time, like over 25 years.
Whoa.
Probably about 24.
What? So it's in the family.
Yeah, pretty much.
Now that we're back in the garage, we're actually starting the stud conversion on this kit. As I mentioned when I first got the kit, I was gonna stud convert it because I just don't like the look of all the hardware that this kit has. Don't get me wrong, the kit still looks freaking awesome with the hardware, but how we're gonna stud convert this kit is this is ABS plastic. You can take ABS plastic, like I'm cutting up the Shirokai spoiler, sacrificing that for the ABS plastic. Mix it with some pure acetone. You can make what's called slurry. And so what's the benefit of slurry? It's like a glue for ABS plastic. When it dries, it's pretty much just as strong as it was before. What am I gonna do with slurry? Cameron and I just spent literally 3 hours on the ground using this bench grinder to make T-bolts. That's a normal bolt, right? It's an Allen key bolt, it's round. I need a T-bolt. They do sell T-bolts online, but we needed them to be a certain thickness and width. So we went ahead and just made 60 T-bolts ourselves. The next step is go ahead, remove the kit, put all those on, cover it with slurry, let it dry and cure for, I'm gonna let it cure for like a solid week, and then sand it down. So what usually people, they'll just use bolts and hardware like the kit's designed for. So what you do is you take off the wide body, you put some nut inserts into the vehicle, and then you can use any type of hardware of your preference. Right now, yeah, self-tapping screws. Basically, once we do the stud conversion, cover it, obviously, what are you gonna do with the studs? If you take off the whole interior of the vehicle, you can actually reach the back side of this panel and you can put a nut on it. So it'll be stud converted. Obviously, you can get to the back of this one as well. Cameron and I just went ahead and sanded all the holes that we're going to stud convert. We're gonna have that one and another one that will be nut inserted, and we'll use like a black bolt so it's not as noticeable, just because we can't access it from the inside of the vehicle and they're kind of important bolts. So after sanding it, we're using those T-bolts that I already showed you that we made, and we're throwing it in the hole. And then after that, you basically put a nut on it so it pushes it down. So this stuff is really hard to work with. This is the slurry. It's like you can choose how thick it is or thin it is by how much acetone you have. So it's really, really stretchy stuff and doesn't like working with you or you're in your favor. So you require a lot of body work when you're all said and done with this process. But my goal is to just make sure that wherever the stud is, that I'm building it up higher than the actual, like the main part. Like I'm filling up the hole. So when I sand it down, I might have a few spots where I need to add a little bit more slurry and let it cure again, but I'm trying to do it one run. So a lot of sanding, a lot of body work ahead, but that's what you gotta do. I really think that is going to be it for today's video. It was short and sweet, I understand, not that much action, but in the next video is actually gonna be very action-packed. So stay tuned for that. And man, all we have to do is lots of body work. Lots of body work, paint the car or wrap it. I'm going back and forth. Actually, that's a question for you. I want to paint the vehicle. I was gonna paint Area 51 from the Ford Bronco. Then I was going towards the Drabbit Gray, which is an individual color they made for the BMWs. It's like really dark and has a gold pearl which matches the cage and the brakes. I think it would look fantastic. But I'm also thinking about wrapping the car matte black and then maybe wrapping it again shortly after like a Ferrari red and just kind of change it up and then paint it like next year. That would also give me the opportunity to work out any flaws. So if I damage the wide body from turning into it, or wearing a hole in it from airing out because it is rubbing, or a stud break, because this is something I'm trying. I haven't really seen anybody else do. That would allow me to fix it and get all the flaws out of the whole car, and then I can paint it like in a year or so. So tell me what you think. Do I go straight to paint, or do I change up a couple colors, have fun doing it, and get all the kinks out of the car before I do? It's looking absolutely ridiculous. This thing is so taken apart. To think it's been 6 months of owning this vehicle and this is what it looks like right now, and it was a perfectly clean stock car when I first got it. It's like almost mind-blowing. All right, dude, the next video is gonna be pretty cool. It's got a little bit of action in it, so stay tuned for that. And if you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do so. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.